मैं इसे शोहरत कहूँ या अपनी बदनामी कहूँ, मुझसे पहले उस गली में मेरे अफसाने गए. So you have spoken about me. I'm happy.
I think that you are the one of the very few lucky ones जिसको पता चल गया कि कटप्पा ने बाहुबली को क्यों मारा.
Yeah, right. That iconic shot, you remember when the baby is in the hands? Amarendra Bahubali ko jeena hoga.
Right.
So when I was writing that dialogue, there was no baby. There was just a mineral water ka bottle in the hand. So there was no Amarendra Bahubali. I may not be Sahir, I may not be Shahryar, but then I will try and take a jump and strive towards that excellence. One fine day, the drama happened. It's a Bollywood industry. I was handpicked by Mr. Bachchan to write KBC. Galiyan release hota hai. Within no time, I had 15 films ke offer. 15 films, and I was like, really, it is happening to me. I meet Rajamouli sir, and I asked him that, sir, what makes you think that I can write? I have not written dialogues in my life ever. I am a die-hard Sahir Ludhianvi fan. Sahir Ludhianvi is the reason I am in this industry. मैं बबली हुई तू बंटी हुआ. मैं बबली हुई तू बंटी हुआ. बंद कमरे में 2020 हुआ. So that was again Manoj Muntashir, but then that's it. Bringing dialogish tone into lyrics is the next thing which I want to attempt in cinema.
Your favorite director that you have collaborated with till now?
That's a very tricky one. Rajamouli sir.
We had already given him all the questions beforehand, so he comes prepared for it.
No. हाय फ्रेंड्स, मैं हूं मनोज मुंतशिर और आप देख रहे हैं बॉलीवुड हंगामा.
Well, we have with us a lyricist and a writer that a lot of people have been asking for, and personally I've spoken about him in many of our interviews, and we finally have with us Manoj Muntashir. Pleasure having you on BollywoodHungama for the first time. ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं लग रहा है that we are having you for the first time, because we have spoken about you in several of our interviews and I've known you for quite some time now. But still, since it's our first interview, so pleasure having you on BollywoodHungama.
Thank you फरीदून. मैंने कहीं एक शेर सुना था बहुत पहले कि मैं इसे शोहरत कहूँ या अपनी बदनामी कहूँ, मुझसे पहले उस गली में मेरे अफसाने गए. So you have spoken about me. I'm happy.
Okay, now I think the biggest takeaway that as far as you are concerned right now is that you've written the lyrics as well as the dialogues of Baahubali 2 in terms of the dubbed version, and that film has become the biggest hits of all times. And even the fact is that the dialogues are perceptive. There's an element of they're not regular dialogues.
Yeah.
Be the romantic dialogues between Anushka Shetty and Prabhas, and even the Shakuni Mama dialogue between Nasir and Rana. All the dialogues, somehow they're working very nicely and people have loved it. Were you expecting something of this sort, response of this sort, and that the fact that the movie will become so huge in its own way?
For part 2, of course.
You're sure of it?
Yeah, very sure. Because in fact, all of us, even if you ask Rajamouli sir, that it is in Hindi it is touching 500 crores,
right.
And in all languages it is like 1600 के आसपास का चल रहा है figure.
Right.
So in fact, if you ask him, he will clearly tell you, yeah, I was expecting this. I mean, anything lesser or lower than this would not be welcome, because we work towards it. So in fact, I will tell you very clearly and very honestly, without any undue modesty, that I wanted that figure to come across.
Okay, when you were watching the movie, because I'm sure that they must have shown you the entire footage, so I think that you are one of the very few lucky ones जिसको पता चल गया कि कटप्पा ने बाहुबली को क्यों मारा. Right. Well in advance, but more than people. So what was the reaction when you saw, especially the way the VFX have been used? Because the fact is that many people they use VFX, but the way this guy has imagined it, imagined that world in itself, that is beautiful.
So
that is beautiful.
We have to go back to the part 1 because I think that is where it all culminates from. First of all, the 2 parts of Baahubali were written like one complete feature film. So it was not done कि ये तो हमने part 1 बना ली है, so if it works then we'll make part 2. No, it was not like that. So I knew from the very beginning, 2015 I wrote for part 1, I believe. So from then I knew that why Katappa killed Baahubali. Because
obviously.
Because to me it was like one story. And whereas as far as VFX is considered, it's a very funny story, Faridoon, I'll tell you.
Sure.
When I saw the film, part 1, so now part 1 मैं देख रहा हूँ, and there is no waterfall, there is just green screen, and there is a Scorpio standing on top of that green screen. एक side में Scorpio खड़ी हुई है. तो मैं सोच रहा हूँ यार, how will it look? I mean, what is it? Is it actually going to be a great film or something like that? I had no idea because I had watched the entire film without VFX. So to me, it was I was a little skeptical that, I mean, okay, this is just another South Indian film. None of them have worked in Hindi, so this may also be the another one in the list. When I saw the film in theater, because there was no preview in for Hindi audiences, or there was no premiere for Hindi for part 1.
Okay.
So directly I had to buy a ticket and go to PVR and watch the film. I watched the film and I was like, when the waterfall actually came, I was blown away.
Okay.
I could not believe that this is the kind of cinematic excellence that we have achieved. And I'll remember one more thing. That iconic shot, you remember when the baby is in the hands, Amarendra Baahubali ko jeena hoga.
Right.
So when I was writing that dialogue, there was no baby, there was just a mineral water ka bottle in the hand. So the lady is raising her hands and saying, Amarendra Baahubali ko jeena hoga. So I was writing for a Bisleri bottle. So there was no Amarendra Baahubali. So when all that actually happened, and I was as amused as a normal cinegoer.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Now coming to the lyrics part of it, you know, as I've mentioned that we've discussed you in several of our interviews in the past, we rarely come across a writer who's having a flair for poetry the way you have been doing it, and you've been doing it consistently. And I think you've also been aided by the likes of Mohit Surya, I think, who understand music very well and who has utilized your work very nicely. What has been your journey like as a lyricist? Because writing poetry is something that very few people can do, and it can be a very, very satisfying job as well.
My journey has been a story of patience and belief.
Okay.
Because what happened that in '99 when I came to Mumbai to write songs for films, I always knew that I am good at churning out lyrics. I knew that because I had that belief in me, and I was a very well-read kind of person. So before I came into this industry, I could say with confidence that I have read almost every Urdu or Hindi poet, not that much into the other parts of it, but poetry. So as much as I got to read, I read it. So I had a taste, I had developed a certain kind of aesthetics towards poetry. So I knew that I will not write crap, that's for sure. I may not be Sahir, I may not be Shahryar, but then I will try and take a jump and strive towards that excellence. So I will not fall too short of that. But what happened that, I mean, this industry calls for a lot of struggle. So my struggle began, and for 1.5 years I was on pavements, and literally on pavements. So there was like no khana, no peena, ek samosa mein pura din guzarna, and all that happened in my life. For like 1.5 years I went through a very, very rough patch. One fine day the drama happened. It's a Bollywood industry. I was handpicked by Mr. Bachchan to write KBC.
Oh, okay.
And I had no clue. Writing KBC, what? KBC, what is it? So it's a show Mr. Bachchan is going to anchor, and he has liked your work. And I go, what work of mine? But I mean, what work of mine could reach Mr. Bachchan?
Right.
Then I was told that I had written something for a show called Yatra. Deepti Bhatnagar used to host it on Star Plus.
Okay.
So that show, Mr. Bachchan saw, he liked something, and then he had a discussion with Sameer Nair Sahab, who used to be the CEO of Star during that time. And they decided that, okay, whoever is this guy, find him out because he's got a good language. So I was handpicked by him to write KBC. And I was literally on pavements when this happened to me. And I could not believe that I'll be writing for Mr. Bachchan, but the joy suddenly disappeared because I had no idea about writing for television. I'm a bloody poet. I'm a hardcore shair tha main. So writing for television and those lines and all that stuff, but it was, I mean, I was very, very happy that Mr. Bachchan could see something nice in me. So I went ahead, I met him, and he liked the way I carried myself. Not really that ऐसा कुछ मैंने बहुत कमाल का लिखा तो था नहीं, but then he liked my presence in my company. So I ended up writing KBC. So when I wrote KBC, the very next moment, in like next 3-4 months, I got flooded by offers from every satellite channel which was in the country those days.
Wow.
So there was a revolution of making those big scale reality shows and multicam shows, and I was the only writer in town.
Right.
So I was hunted by everyone. So within 3 months from the pavement, I had my own car, and I had my own 2 BHK flat. I had everything which was like, just, is it actually happening to me? That was my situation.
Right.
And something which I never wanted to write, something which was not my medium, something which I was not comfortable with. Then that went along for good 14 years. For 14 years, I didn't have time to look back and realize that I came to this industry to write songs, and I have not written even one of them, which has reached to a certain scale. Then 2014, I remember, life turned for good again. It took a. I was very desperate. I had, like, every morning I used to get up. I used to drive in a BMW. Everything was there, but I used to feel कि यार मैंने गाने तो लिखे ही नहीं जो मैं करने आया था. I'm a loser. So people take this as success, but to me, in my mind, I was a lost cause. Then one fine day, I had a habit of taking morning walks. सुबह सुबह उठ के घर के बाहर. So I was taking a morning walk. It is sometime in 2014.
Okay.
A morning 6 o'clock. This is an interesting story. So the lane which goes to my building, that lane is called Govindji Shraf Marg. So मैं वॉक कर रहा हूँ, अचानक मेरी नज़र से 6:30 पड़ती है, उस बड़ी सी एक पट्टी लगी हुई है, इस पर लिखा हुआ है गोविंद श्राफ मार्ग. एंड आई लुक एट इट लाइक अ राइटर्स ब्रेन. सो आई थॉट गोविंद श्राफ मार्ग, ऑलराइट, गोविंद श्राफ लेन, गोविंद श्राफ गली, गलियाँ, वेरी रोमांटिक वर्ड. लेट मी जस्ट ट्राई एंड राइट समथिंग. सो नेक्स्ट 90 seconds आई रोट दोज लाइन्स कि यही डूबे दिन मेरे, यही होते हैं सवेरे, यही मरना और जीना, यही मंदिर और मदीना, गलियाँ तेरी गलियाँ. आई रोट इट ऑन माई मोबाइल. 7 o'clock तक वो मेरे जितने भी म्यूजिक कंपोजर दोस्त थे, मैंने सबको फॉरवर्ड कर दिया. 8 बजे तक सबका जवाब आ गया कि ये बहुत बकवास है, और ये व्हाट आर यू राइटिंग मैन, आई मीन दिस इज वेरी नॉन कमर्शियल. एंड मंदिर मदीना, हु डज दैट मनोज, यार प्लीज ग्रो अप मनोज. मैंने कहा सॉरी, मतलब डोंट मेक मी फील गिल्टी फॉर व्हाट आई हैव थॉट, आई जस्ट थॉट इट्स अ नाइस थॉट, यही मंदिर और मदीना. सो द one of those messages went to Ankit Tiwari also. He's like my younger brother. So Ankit woke up at 12 o'clock. He'll hate me for this because he doesn't want me to tell anyone that he gets up so early, so late. So 12 o'clock he gets up, he calls me, भैया ये आपने कुछ भेजा हुआ है मुझे. मैंने कहा हाँ, बहुत बुरा है क्या? तो कह रहा नहीं, I want to compose it. मैंने कहा you are the only one who has liked it, compose करो. He composed it. The very next day he played it to Mohit Suri, and Mohit Suri said that yaar, I was like I was so much in need of a theme song for my film Ek Villain, and this is it. So it was picked for Ek Villain, and later on what happened, again the tables turned exactly as it had happened in 2000. Galiyan release hota hai, within no time I had 15 films ke offer, 15 films, and I was like, really, it is happening to me. And in next 6 months I gradually quit television and shifted my base to cinema full time.
Oh, that's very interesting. You also write screenplays?
No, I can't.
But the way you narrated the story, I think you have a screenplay in place actually. You have your screenplay in place. Would you like to write screenplays in the near future?
I have always believed in one thing, Faridoon, that if you are A plus or like in a certain bracket in some stream of writing, stick to that. I will never want to be a B grader, because when I wrote lyrics, I had full faith that I am one of the finest. At least I had that faith. Maybe I was not right, but I had that faith. Then when Baahubali happened, that's another very interesting story, because when Rajamouli sir called me for Baahubali, and you will ask me why he called you. He had like access to a lot of other great writers. Why would he?
That is a valid question actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's again a very beautiful story. What happens that nothing goes waste in this industry. So if you wake up, if you're working towards a certain target, a certain goal, you may or may not know, but it will happen to you. So it may happen today, it may happen at a later period of time when you have no idea that it is happening, it is about to happen. I remember it is during the World Cup, when World Cup was about to begin, Cricket World Cup. So my film, MS Dhoni The Untold Story, I was writing lyrics for that film, but due to some reasons it was pushed for a couple of months. So Neeraj Pandey, so this is how the story of Baahubali actually started. So Neeraj Pandey, like the maker of the film and my very good friend, so one fine day he woke up and he said, यार हमारी पिक्चर तो थोड़ी पुश हो गई है, बट वर्ल्ड कप आ रहा है ना, तो चलो एक गाना बनाते हैं वर्ल्ड कप के लिए, एंड लेट्स गिफ्ट इट टू टीम इंडिया. सो वी विल गिव इट टू MS Dhoni. So I thought, what a great idea, why not, let's make it. So 2 days later we took a flight to Hyderabad, because Cream sir, Neeraj decided that Cream sir will compose for this anthem, World Cup anthem.
Okay.
So we went to Hyderabad. Now just imagine a setting, Prasad Studio, बड़ा सा एक हॉल है, और गद्दे बिछे हुए नीचे, गद्दों पे बैठ के हम सिटिंग, ओल्ड वर्ल्ड, पूरा पुराने ज़माने जैसे सिटिंग्स होती हैं. सो मैं, MM क्रीम सर और नीरज पांडे, हम बैठ के गाना बना रहे हैं. सो आई केम अप विद एन आइडिया दैट सर लेट्स डू अ सॉन्ग जिसमें थोड़ा सा गस्टो हो, पावर हो, रिदम हो, छंद जो होते हैं ना हिंदी वाले छंद, तो कुछ वैसा लिखते हैं. सो नीरज सेड या गुड आइडिया, राइट समथिंग एंड देन लेट मी नो हाउ डज इट साउंड. सो आई रोट समथिंग एंड एज आई वॉज अबाउट टू रिसाइट इट, आई टेल यू व्हाट आई रोट. मैंने पढ़ना शुरू किया उसको. धमनियों में दौड़ता है रक्त का प्रवाह आज, और छोर शौर्य का न शक्ति की है था आज. So this is the kind of thing that we wrote. While I was reading it, narrating it to MM Cream and Neeraj Pandey, one man walks in from the door, very silently, very quietly, and he exchanges pleasantries with, very silent pleasantries with MM Cream sir. Hi, hello, I don't know who is he, and Neeraj Pandey, of course he didn't know who is he. He takes that corner stool पे बैठ के चुपचाप silently, he sits there for 10 minutes, he gets up and walks off. Later on, I get a call from Rajamouli's office that he wants you to write for Baahubali dialogues. Okay, all right, I'll meet him first, then I'll decide if we need to work on it. I meet Rajamouli sir and I asked him that, sir, what makes you think that I can write? I have not written dialogues in my life ever. This is the first time and you are trusting me with Baahubali, because I knew it's a big film, part 1.
Right.
So he said, what happened, Manojji? I had heard you reciting something that day, so I'm not very good with Hindi. I couldn't get what you were actually reading. But जो आपने बोला वो मुझे अच्छा बहुत लगा. So I made up my mind that you will write for Baahubali. Remember that song which was writing? That song never happened, in fact.
Okay.
But then that got me Baahubali. So
these lyrics sound familiar.
No.
धमनियों में
no, it never went ahead anywhere because we made a different song for World Cup. So it was a different anthem, but then this remained with us.
Okay.
But then the sound of it and the way I was narrating it to MM Cream sir, so that caught his fancy, and that is when he decided that he's the one who will write Baahubali for me. And I clearly told him that, sir, it may be a huge mistake because I have not written dialogues in my life ever. You were trusting me with such a humongous project. So he said, leave that to me. I know what I'm doing. I go, okay, so that's your call. That's right.
What is the process like when it comes to, since poetry is your first love, you have your BMW in place and all that in place, but poetry, as you mentioned, that is your first love. How do you look at language when you write something? What is it that naturally flows to you? Because as we were discussing off the camera, that जैसे कहा जाता है कि साहब ये हिंदी है, ये उर्दू है, ये हिंदुस्तानी है, या फिर ये संस्कृत है. But what actually transpires on paper because of the extensive reading that you have done in terms of all sorts of poetry, what transpires on paper can be like a confluence of many of the what is called as various languages. So how do you look at this entire aspect?
I'm not a purist when it comes to language. I believe and I strongly believe that language is just a medium to communicate.
Okay.
Nothing more, nothing less. So I'm not too serious about like showing off my skills that I know this word also, I know that word also. Look, I got this word from Sanskrit. I'm not doing that. And in my life, I'm not going to do this. When it is needed for a film like Baahubali, I'll show that yes, I have got that kind of material with me. But for a regular song, for a regular day-to-day life, when we are talking to each other, I am not really very keen on showing off my skills. When it comes to choosing my set of words and my set of communication, though I am a die-hard Sahir Ludhianvi fan, Sahir Ludhianvi is the reason I am in this industry, because I read his biography once and then I decided it's very cool to be a lyricist. So I caught my train pakdi aur main Bombay aa gaya because of Sahir Sahab. I was so fancied by his life story. But then I realized one thing, that in the times that we are living in, I really cannot be subjecting people to poetry and those heavy idioms. What Anand Bakshi Sahab did. Anand Bakshi Sahab उस ज़माने में इस इंडस्ट्री में आए थे, as you very well know, he was such a well-read person. जब आप सोचें वो पीरियड क्या था, वो पीरियड था कि एक तरफ शैलेंद्र हैं, एक तरफ मजरू सुल्तानपुरी हैं, प्रेम धवन हैं, साहिर लुधियानवी हैं, राजेंद्र कृष्ण हैं, हजरत जयपुरी हैं. ऐसे में आनंद बख्शी हैं, जहाँ गाने लिखे जा रहे हैं कि किसी पत्थर की मूरत से मोहब्बत की तमन्ना है, परस्तिश का इरादा है, इबादत की, इस तरह के गाने लिखे जा रहे हैं. वहाँ आनंद बख्शी लिख रहे हैं, अच्छा तो हम चलते हैं, फिर कब मिलोगे, जब तुम कहोगे, कहाँ, वहाँ जहाँ ये लोग आते जाते नहीं. कैन यू लुक एट द डिफरेंस? सो In fact, that took the entire country by storm during those periods because it was so fresh that somebody is doing poetry and still not claiming that he is doing poetry. So that is the kind of writing I believe is perfect for cinema. Again, I'll tell you, Bakshi sir, for that matter, we talk about item songs. मतलब वो तो बहुत बड़ा मुद्दा है हमारे यहाँ देश का कि भाई एक आइटम सॉन्ग पिक्चर में होना चाहिए. हम आइटम सॉन्ग पे कुछ भी करते हैं कि वो गाना हिट हो जाए. मैं आपको एक आइटम सॉन्ग का एग्जांपल देता हूँ. फिल्म थी आए दिन बाहर के. आप आइटम सॉन्ग की पोइट्री देखिए. बख्शी साहब का गाना था एक उसमें, जहाँ एक स्टेज शो है, आशा पारिक जी हैं और एक परफॉर्मेंस हो रही है. उसका कहानी से कोई लेना देना है नहीं, जस्ट एन आइटम सॉन्ग. वर्ड्स आर, खत लिख दे संवरिया के नाम बाबू, खत लिख दे संवरिया के नाम बाबू, कोरे कागज पे लिख दे सलाम बाबू, वो जान जाएंगे पहचान जाएंगे कैसे होती है सुबह से शाम बाबू.
Wow.
Now I really don't think that item song poetry can go beyond this. To me, that is my benchmark. So I have not achieved even like by any stretch of imagination. I'm not even close to it. But then someday, before I leave this world, I would like to achieve that.
No, but you have done like a rom romantic. Hai.
I knew that. I knew that you will not allow me to get away without bringing that into picture. I remember one.
No complaints. We were actually present when that song was being picturized in Pattaya. We actually seen that. In fact, people what they see of that song and what we have seen, there's a huge difference actually.
Really?
10% of what they're seeing of what we have seen. But in commercial stream, many times you do have to make compromise because of your relationships and because of certain demands as well.
I'll never do that now.
You won't do it?
Yeah. Because I'm very sure about one thing.
You won't do like a rom romantic?
Never in my life. Never ever in my life. I will not do rom romantic. I will not. There's another song of mine, since I'm sitting here and you have digged it from somewhere.
Right.
There was another song which I wrote for Welcome Back. So the Mukhla was, especially for the audience of Bollywood Hungama, it was मैं बबली हुई तू बंटी हुआ, मैं बबली हुई तू बंटी हुआ, बंद कमरे में 2020 हुआ. So that was again Manoj Muntashir, but then that's it.
That's it now.
Never.
So he's just assuring all his fans that someone who has the capacity to really write good poetry won't be doing something like that in the future. That's wonderful actually. And I don't think that you have reasons to do that either. Because considering that you're not doing it for money anymore, it is more for passion actually.
Exactly.
Because आपको अगर पैसा कमाना है, you can always do a lot of television these days. There's a hell of money in television.
Right, of course.
You've spoken about the poets that you've liked. You've spoken about the lyricists as well that you've liked. Now, what can we have from Manoj Muntashir in the future? What is it that you're doing next? What is it that you're planning next?
That is yet to be explored, but one thing I can tell you for sure, that I have not, and I have written like in last 3 years, I have churned out 150 songs, which is like a big number when it comes to writing lyrics.
Right.
So more than 150 songs, but I have not even explored an iota of what I have to offer. So there are so many things to be done, so many things, because I'm just trying. I'll give you an example. My latest song, which is like a chartbuster now, मैं फिर भी तुमको चाहूँगा.
Correct, from Half Girlfriend.
From Half Girlfriend. So what has happened, that's my experiment now. What has happened in past, that when you are making a song, so you look for catchphrases, that कुछ भी, baby doll, चिट्टियाँ कलाइयाँ, or any song, you just look for some catchphrases. I really think that let's go one step beyond and get catch thoughts rather than getting catchphrases.
That's a very good idea.
Yeah, because I really do not want to tempt people or like dazzle them, startle them with some lyrical something which I have come across. ये तो देखो मैं word लाया, इसमें क्या मैंने sound है, इसका क्या phonetics है. Sound and phonetics very good, होना ही चाहिए. But then I am a really sucker for thoughts. There has to be one central thought that rules in the entire song. So if you go on and check my last couple of hit songs, so there is no hunger for achieving a catchphrase. For example, my last song, कौन तुझे यूं प्यार करेगा जैसे मैं करती हूँ. So that's a thought. तू आता है सीने में.
That is MS Dhoni.
MS Dhoni. तू आता है सीने में जब जब सांसें भरती हूँ. तेरे दिल की गलियों से मैं हर रोज गुजरती हूँ. तू हवा के जैसा चलता है, मैं रेत जैसे उड़ती हूँ. कौन तुझे यूं प्यार करेगा जैसे मैं करती हूँ.
It is definitely a nice thought.
Yeah.
It is definitely a nice thought.
So that is one thing. Now I think that I have got hundreds of such thoughts, which you can use in day-to-day conversation. So now that song became big because anybody can say to anyone, any girl can say to a boy, कौन तुझे यूं प्यार करेगा जैसे मैं करती हूँ, right? So bringing dialogish tone into lyrics is the next thing which I want to attempt in cinema. So let's see how it shapes up.
Dialogish.
Yeah.
Something on the lines of what Gulzar Saab does.
Gulzar Saab is still very poetic because I really don't want to get into that. But I would say, again, I would come to Bakshi Saab. Yeah. Javed Saab, Javed Akhtar Saab. पंछी नदियाँ पवन के झोंके कोई सरहद ना इन्हें रोके सरहदें इंसानों के लिए हैं सोचो तुमने और मैंने क्या पाया इंसानों के. It's a dialogue. Right?
Right.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to get into not like कि पोइट्री कोई खराब चीज़ है. पोइट्री तो बहुत अच्छी चीज़ है. That's the very reason we are sitting here. We have been inspired. But then what new we are giving to our audiences, something which has been there for like ages. I really do not want to recreate it or rehash it. I want some new stream, some new idea, some new ray coming from some window which has never been seen.
No, but having a new thought process is definitely a wonderful idea. Having a new thoughts is a very nice idea. But honestly, I've felt that you have a capacity for language as well, which you have a flair for language as well. So why not have like a thought which is new at the same time it is presented in a poetic fashion which is totally unique. Then you don't have to give references to anyone else. People will give references of Manoj Muntashir.
Exactly, that's true. Because but since I'll tell you one thing, there is nothing called complete originality. When you come to something and you go and check with the like biggest of the poets, nobody can actually claim that this is completely 100% my original way of thinking. So I am giving references because I am inspired. And I'm not like shy of accepting that thing, that I am inspired by millions of poets who have read, who have जिनके गाने सुने हुए मैंने. तो मुझे इसमें कभी कोई शर्मिंदगी नहीं है. एक चीज़ है, मेरे गानों के जो एग्जाम्पल्स हैं वो मैं खुद नहीं दूंगा, वो कोई और देगा. So I'll wait that I have to achieve that kind of status when people actually, I'm very far from it as of now.
You're very far from it as of now. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Now, Manoj, we have a few segments for you as well. So the first one is that we'd like to have a rapid fire with you. So it's
yes.
time with rapid fire with Manoj Muntashir. What has been your most satisfying work till now?
फिर भी तुमको चाहूँगा.
फिर भी तुमको चाहूँगा. गलियाँ, एक विलन और तेरे संग यारा, रुस्तम. If you have to pick between one of them.
Come again, गलियाँ.
गलियाँ और तेरे संग यारा. If you have to pick.
गलियाँ.
गलियाँ. Okay. A famous writer you would like to collaborate with.
That's a very good question. Irshad Kamil.
One Bollywood director you would like to collaborate with, and which someone whom you haven't till now.
Any day, Imtiaz Ali.
Imtiaz Ali.
Yeah.
Okay. A song that impressed you so much that you wish you had written it.
देखी ज़माने की यारी, बिछड़े सभी बारी बारी.
Wow. Your favorite director that you have collaborated with till now.
That's a very tricky one. Rajamouli sir.
Okay. One moment that changed your life.
I was traveling from my hometown Gauriganj to Allahabad in a train when I got my hands on Sahir Ludhianvi's Talkhiyan, and that decided the course of my destiny, that I had to come to Mumbai. I have to go to Mumbai and then try my luck in lyrics writing.
Great. What would be the title of your autobiography if you ever write one?
जिन गलियों से मैं गुजरा.
जिन गलियों से मैं गुजरा. That's a good one. That's a good one. We had already given him all the questions beforehand, so he comes prepared for it.
No. I'm not seen it.
आपने promptly सारे जवाब दिए हैं rapid fire के, वो ऐसा लगता है that okay, that was wonderful. All right, so Manoj, it was wonderful to have you on BollywoodHungama, and if you can please tell us what are your forthcoming ventures? What are the movies that we can see?
So the next would be Milan Luthia's Bachchan, starring Ajay Devgan, Imran Hashmi, Eliana D'Cruz, and Isha Gupta. Okay. So that would be my next, which is releasing on 1st September. So all the songs have been written by me. It's my solo. After that, I will be having Neeraj Pandey's next Ayari, starring Siddharth Malhotra. And post that, I'll be having a Saina Nehwal's biopic with Shraddha Kapoor, my favorite.
Right, which Amol Gupta is
doing. Yes, sir.
Another very interesting director. Very interesting director.
Very interesting director. In fact, yeah, no doubts about that.
He's a very interesting director.
Yeah.
So Manoj, wonderful to have you on BollywoodHungama, and it's, I think, wonderful to just listen to your journey, listen to your thoughts, and as I think you've you rightly said that there's much more to come from Manoj Muntashir. I think the best phase is going to start now.
I hope so.
We hope to listen to many more gems from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Faridoon.
Thanks.
It's nice.
That's all we have from BollywoodHungama. Keep on watching.
Bye.